network address translation. So we will start today's session from there. I am sharing the screen now. So please let me know if it is accessible. Hope it is accessible to everyone. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Network address translation. It's a very important process which is being performed in each hotspots. In general, we can say like that. And when we perform even virtual machines also, there is a provision to enable this NAT or disabling the NAT or something like that. Okay. So the idea behind is this, which I was talking yesterday. The same thing is given in a graphical representation. Assume that a local network, a home network, or a official network inside of a college, in the classrooms where the hotspot is being connected, all the devices, computers or any wireless devices got connected with some routers. Why routers? It's very important. Router only can provide a solution to the device like an DHCP, enabling that process is possible. Normally, DHCP is the application layer protocol. Is a additional a service which is running on application layer. But the router will have only the 3 layers from the OS layers. From the bottom, physical layer, data link layer, then the higher order layers. So how the DHCP can be enabled? Yeah, DHCP is the application will be executed and which will be configured in a way that even though application layers are not existing, as a network administrator, we can access the configuration part of the DHCP and we can configure what is the range of the address it has to assign, and all the facility given in the DHCP can be accessed through either in a web browser or any console that's called console. We can log in through and we can administrate. But the thing is, the router, as per our discussion, the router don't have any application layer. Then how the router can execute the DHCP? So some sort of the firmware in the sense the embedded program is being written which will execute the DHCP module. That provisions are there. That version of the DHCP has been written as a code. It's a embedded microprogramming. It is loaded onto the router in addition to the 3 layers of OS layers, especially for the additional features of that particular type of device. Router may have multiple additional functionalities. So during the forthcoming classes, if I am taking class on first period, whenever I am accessing the router at my home, I will show you the configuration process by logging into that. Hereafter, if I speak, then it will be having the meaningful information. So all the, especially in the given the case of packet forwarding, or then router configurations, then security options, and many applications are there. But we have to think, especially here, a device, a router, which don't have any operating system, how it is executing all these application layer modules. Then I have experienced one problem there in a router. So then I contacted the service people of a D-Link routers. So they gave a suggestion about the firmware of that hardware has to be changed. Then I have upgraded into the new versions. During that time when I was exploring that, then I came to know there are some subsystems have been written in addition to a simple router module, a dedicated microprocessor based environment is also available. So we can say that may be is a dedicated applications is being executed not through a operating system as an interface. So then I have realized that. So the summary here is that the router has main three functionalities of three layers: the physical layer and the data link layers and the higher order layers, like in the network layers. But the DHCP and all the other remaining applications, normally it is supposed to work on the application layer. Application layer in the sense is it's as a program it has to run. But how it is being executed there? Additional operating system equivalent program is running. That program, which is embedded as a module in a separate dedicated microprocessor there. But to my knowledge, no dedicated operating systems are not available, I think so. There are operating systems are available, real-time operating system, RTOS, real-time OS. Now currently in the robotic domain, the ROS, robotic operating systems are there. So all these type of operating systems are structurally there are differences. Okay. So now I've come to the topic here in the NAT. So why I'm connecting all the point is that a device which we see as a router, which will not perform only the physical layer operations and the NAT foundation three layers. In addition to that, it is performing the additional tasks which we are discussing now, and the DHCP which we discussed, and the NAT also. Okay. So with this, we'll proceed. So this is the provision which is available in our hand in our working environment, here and official and home network. So the IP address assigned here, it's in the range. That range settings also can be done in the router provisions. So a datagram with the source or destination in this network, the source and destination will be within this particular range. So everyone can communicate within this. But when it comes to the router, when the packet is going away from the network, away from the home network, the IP address 138.76.29.7. So during the yesterday's demonstration, hope everyone can understand that some students, those who have received the IP address 192.168. some series, all they have connected internet through a Wi-Fi hotspot. So instead of 10.0.4, no, 192.168. some that in that series of IP address were there. when the communication happens within a LAN by using this IP addresses, a packet when it's going away from that through a network address translation mechanism, which is converted 10.0.04 IP address converted into this wrapper. Actually, it is nothing but assume that this is one small envelope which is packed with something which may have a 10.0.0.4. From here, when it is coming out, this will be wrapped with a new packet information. So inside that, if you see, in this way we can understand. So the IP address on this top 138.76.29.4. From with this IP address, it will be going away from that. Then when a reply comes back, that reply will be received over here. Then it will remove this particular wrapper. Then it will open the inside a packet. That packet will have the information about related to 10.0.04. So then it will be rerouted to here, which will reduce the IP address issues. And there is another practical problems. When the users are fixing the IP address by their own, what will happen? There is a error information. Normally you can get it. If two users are using the same IP addresses which they are configuring manually, what will happen is that IP address conflict, that message will come normally. So when we do the connectivity through a manual way, so DHCP will take care of that. Okay. That's the idea about. Yes, all these things already I have discussed. You can change the IP address devices in the local without notifying outside the world. It can change the ISP without changing the addresses of the device in local area network. It won't make any change in the packet address. Instead, it will add the additional wrapper. Devices inside a local net not explicitly addressable, visible by the outside world, a security plus. So what IP address is being utilized inside, it may not be visible because it is a wrapper. On the top of the wrapper, we are adding one more wrapper on that. So any packet which is going away from that, which will be 138.76.29.7. With that IP address only it will proceed. The outgoing datagrams, the source IP address and port number of every outgoing datagram to NAT IP address to new port. So from the local LAN, which will have a source IP address, that is actually converted into NAT IP address. The new port number, then it will reach to the remote client servers, will respond to the NAT IP address only. NAT is the person which will convert once again into back to the local IP address. Yes. So what it will have? NAT translation table. It will create a translation table inside. Which particular IP address from the LAN they want to connect to the outside world through internet. So that will be retained as a table. It's called a lookup table or translation table. When the response received by the NAT, it will do a remapping of the IP address. Then the transactions will be processed. Okay. So this is the point which we have discussed. Yeah. The same thing, you see, host 1, 10.0.1 sends the datagrams to this. This is the outside the world, outside the LAN, using the port number. He wants to communicate, but the source IP address is equal to 10.0.1. Since this LAN got a connectivity to the internet, so they can access. Then what will happen? Source is this one, destination is this one. Then NAT translation table, WAN side address. The meaning of WAN side is called wide area network. LAN is actually local area network. So the address from source to destination, the source 10.0.1, where it's a source, when it is reaching here, the IP address of this router is actually 10.0.04, assume like that, 1, 2, 3, 4. Through this, it is going away. So when it is going away, the NAT router changes the datagram source address to 138.76.29.7 5000. It is changing from 10 point this IP address to this IP address. That's the thing which I was talking about. So this is now it is for the datagram, a packet which we send when from here onwards, for the outside world, the source IP address is this. So this is the IP address normally will be visible to the outside world. Based on that, they will easily identify from where you are accessing the just a minute. The internet connectivity that can be easily identified. So this is idea. Then any information is replying from the server or who is responding for that, it will come to this with the same 138.76.29.7, the same port number. Then from here, using NAT translation table, that IP address is being converted into 10.0.0.1. So this source ID will be same here. That is going to be maintained the same. Then the destination is actually converted into the 10.0.0.1. The NAT router changes the datagram address like this. Okay. So 16-bit port number field, 60,000 simultaneous connections with a single LAN side address is possible. So already that we discussed. A port number with the same IP address with a different port. 60,000 connections we can establish. So for each and every process which we establish from the computer, we need not to have a dedicated IP address for IP address with a different port. So we can have multiple combinations of that. So 16-bit port number, 2 power 16 combinations of different port numbers we can put it. In that, some of the port numbers is actually dedicated for some applications like FTP, file transfer protocol, and email, SMTP. Like different applications, the port number is fixed. For HTTP, 80, like this. The routers, this is the point which I was, the routers should only process up to here layer 3. Address shortage should be solved by the IPv6. Okay, this is one point. The next, currently the era of 5G, actually keeping all these things in mind, only the IPv6 came. As per the requirement, if we need, for example, if we connect more number of hardwares, even in a small devices at home, each electrical appliances available at home, if everything can have a dedicated IP addresses. So if everything got connected through a home network, just imagine how many number of IP addresses we may require. So during that case, the IP address of IPv6, so 32-bit addressing may not be sufficient. So that's the reason we are going for IPv6. That we will discuss about that. And this point is given here, the layer 3. The router is supposed to have only layer 3, but when we incorporate the NAT operations, it's actually peer-to-peer communications. It is violating the end-to-end agreement of the part, but provisions, provisions are available like this. So next we are moving for IPv6. The motivation behind this, a 32-bit address space won't be sufficient. Header format helps the speed processing forwarding. So IPv6 datagram format, a fixed length 40-byte header. No fragmentation is allowed. Fragmenting, which we discussed earlier. The total data packet, if it is bulkier in size, that can be fragmented in a small sizes, then it can be connected. So fragment of the packet can be transmitted. That fragmentation should not be done, especially when we go for IPv6. I will talk about that. So IPv6 datagram format. Here version, a priority, flow table, payload length, next header, hop limit, source address 128 bits, destination address 128 bits. So when I was talking the previous day, just a minute, I am sharing that application which I have opened. Network. Hope. So now I have connected, you are connected to the internet. Change the adapter options, network sharing and center, properties. If I come here you can see this is the address. So the link local IPv6 address is fixed over here. That also, as a dynamically it is assigned, we can fix by our own. So the total length of this one is 128. That means 32-bit, 64, 128. So for 128 binary bits, 2 power 128 combinations we can have it. So that 2 power 128 combinations, just a minute. Okay, I'm sorry. So 128 address, the destination address also will have a 128 address. Just will imagine 2 power 128 combinations of devices can connect. So this is the alternate solutions for the scarcity of the IP addresses. But what changes actually is being made to carry this 128-bit addressing. So that 128-bit addressing is actually, you see here, the width of this one is equal to 32 bits only. But here it was written as a source address is equal to 128, destination address is equal to 128. So it is nothing but this 32-bit width of this particular datagram, which will have as a inside a data that's called a tunneling. We are going to talk about that. This 128. Okay, I will talk about that a little bit in the forthcoming slides. The source address and destination address at present, you keep this in mind, is 128-bit addressing is important. 2 power 128 combinations of the devices can be connected, can be addressed through this IPv6. Okay. Especially currently, all you people are living, are going to work on 5G environment. It's in the future, within a very short durations, we can expect the 5G. During that time, majority of the devices will be having addressing scheme of IPv6. But earlier, as of now, majorly the IPv4 is being utilized because the IoT devices were not available much, and the demand of especially in our Indian subcontinent, that type of scarcity of IP address people were not experienced. Okay. So other changes from IPv4, the checksum concept is removed entirely to reduce the processing time at each hop. Options allowed, but outside of header, indicated by a next header. Some of the options, if any other options are there. ICMP B6, new version of ICMP. The additional message types, example, packet too big. This packet size is very big. So then the provision is there. The multicast group management functions also incorporated in this. Transition from IPv4 to 6. Not all routers can be upgraded simultaneously from the IPv4 to IPv6 format. Because if all the devices will run only on IPv6, then what will happen? Currently existing IPv4 devices cannot be accessed. So it must have a provision of addressing both combined IPv6 and IPv4. That's the point. So how can we incorporate that provisions? That's called tunneling. Tunneling is nothing but IPv6 datagram carried as payload in IPv4 datagram among IPv4 routers. So the idea is very simple. Assume that IPv4 datagram, hope you everybody in the previous discussions we studied about this, IPv4, in that the datagram will have a data payload information. In that IPv6 address will be given. So the tunneling IPv6 datagram carried as payload in IPv4 datagram among IPv4 routers. So that's the point which I want. IPv4 header, but outside the world, when if we see that it looks like IPv4, but the data available in the IPv4, it's carrying the IPv6 address details, which may require relatively more amount. 128-bit destination address also 128-bit, totally 128 plus 122, 256 number of bits may be required only for addressing itself. So the big space is available only on a payload area. So that tunneling operation is being performed for that. This is the idea of tunneling. So IPv6 header information, IPv6 source and destination information, all the total information of about IPv6 will be available inside a IPv4 packet. But when we see the outside, it looks like IPv4. But when the data is being interpreted, after accessing the IPv4 4, because IPv4 is used for routing and all those. IPv6 based routing is also there. The router will recognize the payload information. Then it will come to know, okay, the source and the destination IP address, it's not available in the, as per the template in source and the destination IP address. It is being recognized as IPv6. Then what it will do, it will go and see the payload information. It will start extracting the information from the payload. It will get idea. Okay, that's a. This will give the interoperability between two different versions of the IPs. Okay, the tunneling, what happens? So the logical view from A, IPv6, if you see here, IPv4, a device A, B is getting connected through a router. When IPv4 tunnel connects the IPv6 routers. But whenever we go, when we connect with the IPv6, from the outside world, when we see the routers, yes, having IPv6, all are having IPv6. But in the channel, sometimes it may not be visible. Logically, what it will, the user can visualize, yes, all the devices are having IPv6 address, everything is communicating using the routers, things are happening. We will think like that, but when you come inside, that's why it's called a logical view and physical view. In the physical view, physically what is happening inside in the channel, something is getting changed into, that's called a tunneling operation, which we mentioned. The source and the destination IP address of IPv6 version converted into a IPv4, because we cannot assure that all the packet which is passing through a networked environment, all routing elements need not to have a IPv6 version. Some lower compatible versions of switching devices also may be there in between a source to the destination packet travel. So IPv4 converting into IPv6 to IPv4 format, that's the point which I was talking here, that's called a tunneling. So when we see here any capturing the packet over here by using some of the sniffing tool, capture it, and if you see here, it will have IPv4 source and destination like that, but inside in the payload area, it will have IPv6. So that's the idea about tunneling. So how the data is flowing from A to B, flow A to B, source is A, destination is equal to F, it will have a data A to B IPv6, source is having IPv6. From here to here, source is B, destination is E. So what happens? This data now, when it's still going into as a packet, when it is coming out from here, source and destination, B to C. So from B to C, how the IP address translation happens. IPv6 inside the IPv4. So in this way only the packet tunneling happens. So from B to C, from B to C, IPv6 inside IPv4. So the same thing, this total packet is actually being shifted from here to here. The switching will happen, the routing will happen. Then when it is reaching here, it will open only inside the data, it will extract. That is taken here, that's called tunneling, which we have talked about. How a tunnel, railway tunnels are there, bus tunnels are, you can see, outside the world is something different. But what is happening inside a tunnel, sometimes from the external perspective, you see, we may not be visible. But it may have an internal some protocol for a tunneling. Okay, that's the idea. Okay, So Google, 8% of the client access services via IPv6. NIST, 1/3 of all US government domains are IPv6 capable. So when they have established the connectivity in the US, they have made arrangements that, okay, every device is keeping in mind that the next 15 years, next 20 years, if we invest some hardware over here, at least it has to work for next 15 to 20 years. So all the established things itself, they have incorporated the IPv6. So why I'm saying all this point is that before procuring any of the hardwares, we have to think about all those. At least the next 5 years, the device should be compatible with us. Like that, we have to think on. And to reduce the RTT, to experience the high speed on the data, we should have the latest updated version of the protocol. For example, which already I told, Wi-Fi 802.11 AC, AX series, and all those, the dual band and all. So if we procure some of the devices like that, sometimes we may think that why this certain type of devices has a relatively costlier. The reason is that it may have the additional features. Okay. So long time for deployment, 20 years of counting. Yeah, all those things we discussed. Yeah. The next. Now. Okay, we have time. Now, generalized forward and SDN. I will talk about what is software-defined networking, SDN. Some of the example given at the open flow. All of you please make a note of that. A keyword of open flow. You can start searching about the people, those who are really interested into networking as a core. If you choose that, you can start learning a lot of Coursera courses. Some of the in the next class I will talk about. I'll give some link for the best SDN courses. You can also search on that. Software-defined networking and network function virtualization, NFV. These two keywords, please start searching. I will type the same thing on the chat box. Please make use of that. Yeah, 5 minutes away. Software-defined networking and network function virtualization, NFV. So these two are very important domain. Currently, the major industries are running. They are going to expand their capability based on these key terminologies, the technologies. Okay, so you can, since we don't have a curriculum, in our curriculum, at least the outline about the content is there. We'll discuss about in the outline, NFV and SDN. I'm not going to talk about NFV because which require some more foundation on SDN. Okay, what is SDN? So whenever we think about the network layer, there are two planes. One is called a control plane, another one is called a data plane. Control plane. So control plane, which used to give a control information about the forwarding information, like creating a forwarding table and all those. The routing table is being generated, and a device, what are all the devices got connected to the router, which will pass a message to that particular routers. If any IP addresses are coming this particular range, you do a communication, input data, communicate or switch towards to the port number 1, 2, 3, 4. Hope you can recollect that. So that type of operations, this the fundamental operation performed in the router, or it's a switching element. It has to switch from source to the destination. The packet has to be passed either through this pathway or that pathway. With that assumption, a router must choose the selection of the packets routing information that should be done based on the routing algorithms, which already you have done assignment experiment number 4. The link state algorithm, Dijkstra's algorithm that you have gone through. We will discuss about the theory also. It's fine. The idea behind is that a packet which is sourced to the destination, it must experience the least switching speed. Each switching speed, when the switching operation is being performed, already you have gone through that, the switching fabric. A very low quality of switching mechanism, which will increase the delay like anything. So we have seen 3 different types. If number of switches is increasing, the final overall resultant delay also will increase. How to reduce? Reduce the number of switches, switching operations, that by doing a proper routing, that's all. So that routing information will be given by the control plane, and the data plane will execute. Okay, it will get the information about from the flow table, then automatically it will execute the process of that. So that's the idea. So okay, we'll look into that about some intro about open flow of all those in the forthcoming class. Open flow abstraction, matching, switch, firewall, NAT, some example for open flow. Yeah. I'll give some explanations about how it works. That's all. That's all the part for the chapter 4 almost. Do you have any doubts? Please let me know.